it's very difficult to talk about solar energy after Professor Papadopoulos. My name is Tamara Bajc, and I'm coming from Faculty of Mechanical Engineering, University of Belgrade, and today I'm going to talk about solar thermal energy in buildings, current state, and also perspectives for the future. If I may say, it will be maybe a short introduction for tomorrow's sessions, which are going to be completely dedicated to renewables in district heating and cooling. Last decades, we are witnesses of significant global climate changes that occur worldwide, with 1.5 degrees Celsius higher temperature than it was in the 19th century, for example. With industry growth and also number of people and vehicles, and also with intensive usage of fossil fuels, the global warming is nowadays more conspicuous than it was ever before. So what can be done about this? In order to reduce the global warming as much as possible, it is necessary to reduce, of course, the usage of fossil fuels. So one of the opportunities is to use the solar thermal energy, which is considered to be the cleanest carbon reduction technology. And according from the data from 2017, reduced amount of CO2 worldwide was about 135 million tons. So if I may say, it's a really significant number. So solar energy potential is huge, especially in the field of heating and cooling. And there is always an interesting question about the price. Someone would say that this technology is not so affordable these days, but about the prices we are going to discuss a bit later. What is the current state here in Serbia about solar thermal energy? First of all, renewables are here in Serbia. Also, the highest percentage of used renewable energy consumption is in residential sector. But only 1% of this is going to solar energy, especially solar PV technology. And about 60% of energy is used from solid biofuels here in Serbia, while about 38% is used from hydropower. So the solar energy is not so common these days here. What are the state and what are the current state in solar thermal energy use worldwide? Here in this graph are given the size and capacity of water collectors which are installed in Europe and also other countries worldwide in a period from 2000 to 2017. And it can be seen that the growth of installed capacity is increased about 7.6 times. Also proportionally the yields of solar energy. And 82% of all installed capacities are installed in China and Europe, and only about 70% are installed in the USA and Canada. If we look at the shares of installed type of collectors in Europe, it can be noticed that the flat plate collectors are at the first place with 83%. On the second place, we have evacuated tube collectors, and at the last place, we have unglazed water collectors with only 3%. Also, if we compare the sizes of all these solar thermal installations worldwide, about 90% of all installed solar thermal installations are small single-family installations. And on this graph, it can be seen that in 2016, there was a significant growth in the number of new installations. It occurred in Denmark with 31 new solar installations. And also in Europe, among Denmark, there are Sweden, Austria, Germany, Spain, and Greece. as countries with a large solar thermal system for district heating. And maybe it sounds strange that northern countries, which have lower yields, have such a huge number of installations, but on the other hand, they also have huge demands for heating. And if we look at, again, the number of large systems for solar district heating worldwide, it can be noticed that Denmark is on the very first place with more than 100 installations. And after Denmark, there are Germany and Austria. If we look the worldwide picture, among other countries, China is at first place in the other countries. Installation for solar thermal application by 2016 in Europe and world are shown in these graphs. At the left side, we can see the shares of total installed solar thermal applications in Europe, and on the right side, in the world. So it can be seen from these graphs that installation for domestic hot water system for family houses are the highest percentage, with about 62 or 63%. And on the last place are the smallest, the biggest installations for solar district heating, cooling, and solar process heat systems, with only about 3% in Europe and only 1% worldwide. Situation with thermal cooling is given in this graph, and it's shown that there are very few installations in Europe, which are huge installation for cooling, and the biggest one is in USA, in Arizona, as it can be seen at this graph here. So the potentials of solar thermal energy are really huge. Also, as perspectives, it can be mentioned that according to Vision 2030, a future strategic goal is to supply more than 50% of heat demand for buildings for heating and cooling through the solar system. It's also a very significant goal to reach. Why is solar thermal energy so good and perspective? It is considered to be as most perspective in a way of carbon emission reduction, also for less air pollution in cities. It gives the opportunity for refurbishment of existing networks in cities, and also fulfillment of clean energy targets worldwide. It also gives the opportunity for countries to have a less use of fossil fuels. There is always a discussion about the price of solar thermal systems, and if we look at the table on this slide, it can be seen that maybe today's prices of solar energy are not so competitive, especially in Serbia, for electricity prices. But in the future, there are estimations that solar thermal energy will be even 3 times cheaper than it is these days, while natural gas, electricity, and other fuels will be much more expensive by 2030. So it is estimated that the specific investment costs for a small solar thermal system in Europe will be 6 times lower by 2030. And also, some of the authors made a research that payback period for solar heating system is from 3 to 5 years, while payback period for cooling system varies from 8 to 12 years. At the end, what can be concluded? That according to Directive European Union, it was proposed that the share of renewables consumed in European Union by 2030 should be at least 27%. So it also can be reached using solar thermal technologies. Solar energy provides a large scale of benefits towards EU goals regarding energy savings, also fossil fuel reduction, also CO2 emission reduction. It also implements renewables into existing district heating systems. So it's possible to achieve subsystems as an addition to existing plants and achieve savings during whole year. So initial higher costs of solar system can be compensated by low operation costs and free solar energy. Thank you for your attention.